they're being exposed. It's very clear why they would target James O'Keefe, because he is over the target, because he is exposing the darkness, because he's been exposing the darkness. And by going after him and targeting him, now we can continue to see ever more clearly what is going on here. What is going on here. And also be reminded of the flip-flopping in the Biden administration when before he said it was simply wrong to take reporters' notes and information. But now he's clearly on board with weaponizing the FBI against a journalist. For nothing is secret that will not be revealed, nor anything hidden that will not be known and come to light. And are we seeing that happen? Are we seeing it? What's done in the darkness will be exposed. What's done in the darkness is being exposed. Let's celebrate the wins. Let's make sure that we're praising when we see good things happening. And we are seeing some good things happening, right? We're seeing things getting exposed with Rittenhouse. We're seeing things heating up with Durham. We're seeing the Biden being held accountable for ignoring the Constitution. So all of these things that are evil, remember, what was meant for evil, God can turn and make it for good. So while these bad actors are trying to pull some slimy stuff, well, it can be turned around and they can be exposed. And we're going to keep on inching closer to justice. That's the hope and the prayer. So before we went to break, we were talking to Robert Barnes, and I was going to ask him about this whole James O'Keefe situation and, oh my goodness, what's going on there? But obviously it hits a little bit closer to home because it's a journalist, an investigative journalist, and he's being targeted and politically persecuted. And boy, he has come out with some doozies. He's exposed what's in the vaccines. He's exposed how hypocritical the vaccine makers are. And then, months later, he just so happens to be targeted by the FBI. Any coincidences there? So on Saturday morning, James O'Keefe was awoken to the FBI banging on his door to conduct a pre-dawn raid at his home as a continuation of an investigation surrounding Ashley Biden's diary. And he was forced to allow the confiscation of many confidential reporter notes and source identities. We're going to come back to that because that's a key issue in this case that really hasn't been talked about much. But let's play clip 5 and review, shall we?
Well, Sean, on Saturday morning, I acknowledge that, but I woke up to a pre-dawn raid, banging on my door. I went to the door to answer the door, and there were 10 FBI agents with a battering ram, white blinding lights. They turned me around, handcuffed me, and threw me against the hallway. I was partially clothed in front of my neighbors. They confiscated my phone. They raided my apartment. On my phone were many of my reporters' notes, a lot of my sources unrelated to this story, and a lot of confidential donor information to our news organization, Sean. So I've heard the phrase, the process is the punishment. I didn't really understand what that meant until this weekend. And Sean, I wouldn't wish this on any journalist.
Let me go into the issue like anybody that works in any form of journalism. So let's pull out of this now.
And something that really stuck out to me is that his confidential information and resources were taken. So remember this. In May of this year, Biden says he won't let Justice Department seize reporters' phone and email records. He said he would not allow that to happen. He said, it's simply wrong. I will not let that happen. What happened in this case? Over his daughter's alleged diary. But if it was an alleged diary and it's this fake diary, then why is the FBI so interested in it? Or are they interested in it? Or is there more to this? So let's play, just so we can be reminded of what he said, let's play clip number 6.
Veritas.
And just one more question. On Friday, President Biden said he would not allow the Justice Department to seize the records of reporters. Has he communicated that to Attorney General Garland? And if so, how did he communicate that?
Well, I don't have any private conversations to read out for you between the president and his attorney general. What I can convey is that the president spoke clearly that he won't allow the abuse of power to intimidate journalists, and he is alarmed by the reports of numerous abuses of power regarding how the previous administration used the powers of the Department of Justice, and thought it was right to speak out. I don't have further specifics beyond that.
But without revealing any private conversations, is the Justice
So there you go. It was simply wrong then. And when they were trying to, of course, make implications against President Trump. But months later, they had no problem with using the FBI to go and, for obvious reasons, target James O'Keefe, who has been one of the main journalists bringing the most relevant information that all of us should want and need to know to the forefront, especially concerning the vaccines. But back then, CNN anchor Wolf Blitzer, he welcomed Biden's comments about saying it was simply wrong to take reporters' notes away. He said that was really encouraging news. Where is CNN's Wolf Blitzer right now? Why isn't he standing with even a journalist he doesn't agree with? Because those that truly love journalism will stand with other journalists they don't even agree with, because that is the preciousness of the freedom of the press. That is what is so precious about it, is that whether you agree or you don't agree, that we have the freedom to report, especially when it comes to holding those in power accountable. Who would be more powerful than vaccine companies that make billions of dollars and are pushing what we know to be harmful vaccines, or that could be? I mean, but you won't even allow that information to come out. But this also raises a lot of different questions, and I think obvious ones is, Project Veritas didn't actually even report on that diary. They say that they gave it back. They weren't able to verify it, so they didn't actually use it. And it was National File that ended up printing a lot of these pages. So it begs the question, where is the FBI with the National File? Will they be raiding those homes as well? Or is this really just about James O'Keefe and the reporting he's been doing? And it also raises the question, does this confirm the authenticity of Ashley Biden's diary? Because why else would they be going after a diary? I mean, if my diary was stolen, I'm pretty sure the FBI or CIA would not be going after anyone. In fact, if anyone was going to steal my diary, it would be the FBI and the CIA to, try and find something against me. So that's another question. And again, what right does the FBI have to the other proprietary information? So like he said, he has the donor information and notes from other stories in there, but they can just take all of the notes in his whole cell phone and blame it on an investigation into Ashley Biden's diary, which again, it seems to confirm that it was her diary. It's all very suspicious, but we know what's going on there. But the win there is, like I said, I want to frame all of the stories that we covered today. The positive part of it is that it's being exposed. They're being exposed. It's very clear why they would target James O'Keefe, because he is over the target, because he is exposing the darkness, because he's been exposing the darkness. And by going after him and targeting him, now we can continue to see ever more clearly what is going on here. What is going on here? And also be reminded of the flip-flopping in the Biden administration, when before he said it was simply wrong to take reporters' notes and information. But now he's clearly on board with weaponizing the FBI against a journalist.